Okay, so we've talked about the front planks, we've done some rocking planks, we've done the long lever plank. Now we're going to start to add in some leg and arm movement over the next few variations here. So the key with this is that the initial setup position you have needs to be maintained throughout the entire plank. As you start moving something or doing something like that, it's not an invitation for you to let your technique fall apart. If you can't hold a position, don't do this variation of it. It's that simple. So we're going to start with, essentially it's like a marching motion. You're going to alternate picking up your legs off the ground. A couple things to think about. It's not a lot of motion, okay? When you lift the leg, and I'll show you what it looks like in a second, you want to squeeze your glute, okay? So you're extending your hip. And it's important to think of it that way because if you lift the leg too high, once your hip is done extending, to go further, you have to then move into your low back, which defeats the whole purpose of the plank, which is to secure the middle all the way through. So the leg only comes up off the ground a little bit. Your heel gets up about as high as your hip and no further. I'll show you what it looks like when you do it correctly, and if you go too high, you'll see how my back will start to move, which is, you're going too far, okay? And as you transition from one leg to the other, you really have to brace hard because that shift, when you put one leg down and pick up the other leg, your body wants to shift and move. You don't want that to happen. The goal is that if I put a plate of cookies on your back, don't drop my cookies, okay? If you start shifting around, you drop my cookies, you're doing it wrong, and I'm gonna be very upset with you. So let's talk about how to set this thing up, what it should look like, and things to avoid. Again, back to our modified position to start. We're gonna go here, and then come up into the plank position. Now, I'm gonna squeeze my glute, pick up one leg, that's it. And then other side. To move my leg, I'm squeezing my glute, so tighten up your butt, okay? That's it. What most people do is this. See what it does to my spine? How I go here, it causes my entire spine to have to bend. That's not helping you at all. So just because you can lift that leg higher doesn't mean you should. It's a little bit of range of motion. You want, again, shoulders, abs, everything braced. Squeeze the butt, squeeze that glute muscle on the side of the leg you want to lift, and let that, and it comes up slowly, and honestly, I don't know, maybe 6 inches off the ground, that's it. And then come back down. And as you transition, when that foot goes down, the other one comes up, keep this tight, really brace hard. So it's not a fast march. It's up, down, it's up and down slowly, transition up and down slowly. So you can do this one of two ways. You can count the number of marches that you do, or you can still run time and just hold it for 30 seconds and just do your marches at whatever speed you set up. So either option is great, but the key is to maintain that position all the way through. Okay, so you've mastered the plank with the marching. Now we're gonna work on adding in some arm movement. These are noticeably more difficult than moving the legs. And I'll show there's a couple things that I think will make this better. Because a lot of what people do when they move their arm in a certain pattern, it really puts a ton of stress on the body and makes it almost impossible to keep the position that we're trying to keep. So I'm going to actually set up this way for this one. One difference with this one is you're going to want to have your feet a little bit wider on this one. If you keep your feet too close together, when you pick your arm up, you're not going to be able to prevent your body from shifting. So set up with your feet a little bit wider. And then when we bring the arm out to the side, or I'm going to actually have you bring your arm out to the side like this. So don't reach here, don't reach this way. Those things, again, if we look at levers and things, you know, this is a longer lever than this. So this, and trust me, this is going to be challenging, bringing your arm out to the side. When you start reaching and swinging this way, it tends to throw off the position. It makes it unnecessarily difficult. So let's go into our modified position. Here first. Okay, now I'm going to come up, I'm going to bring my feet a little bit wider, and then I'm going to bring one arm out, and then the other arm. Again, the arm motion, it doesn't have to be that high. If your arm gets to about parallel to the floor, you're good. Don't swing higher than that. Honestly, if it comes up off the ground just a little bit, you're gonna feel things kicking in and working. You're gonna feel your body want to shift kind of away. So if I'm picking up my right arm, my body's gonna want to shift to the left side. So Keep those glutes tight, keep the abs tight, and when you're going to lift the arm, really brace everything hard before you lift. Really lock it in. That'll help. If you wait to brace until you're already shifting over here, it's too late. Brace hard first, then pick up your arm. And again, like the leg motion, it's smooth and controlled up, smooth and controlled back down. So you can do reps, on a certain number of reps on each arm, or you can run time and get as many of those as you can in the amount of time you can hold.